And we're back. Here we are on lesson 4. We're talking about multiplication and division word problems. Your objective is right here. Don't forget to write it down, and let's go ahead and get started. Alright, first of all, again, here's your fun fact of the day. During your lifetime, you will eat about 60,000 pounds of food, which is about the weight of 6 elephants. So, again, 60,000 pounds of food or 6 elephants worth. That's a lot of cheeseburgers. Alright, let's go ahead and go on to our examples. Example 1 says, in the auditorium, the chairs were arranged in rows of 15. If there were 360 chairs, how many rows of chairs were there? Okay, well again, they want us to write an equation from the word problem. So this whole lesson, again, you have to write the equations. Okay, you can't just solve the problem first. So we're going to write the equation and then solve it. Well, let's pick out what we know here. We know the chairs were arranged in rows of 15. There were 360 total chairs. And we want to know how many rows of chairs were there. Alright? Well, let's think about this. I'm going to put this in words here. We know that there are some rows of chairs. Okay? And we know how many chairs are in a row. And we know that there's a total number of chairs. Okay? Well, let's think about this. If I wanted to express the total number of chairs, because that's always going to be our equal side of our equation, okay? If I wanted to express the total number of chairs we had in terms of how many rows there are and how many chairs are in each row, okay? Well, let's think about this. Okay, I wouldn't take how many rows of chairs plus the number of chairs in a row. Okay, so if there was one row, I wouldn't add 15 chairs to it and say there's 16 total chairs. Okay, I wouldn't subtract them, I wouldn't divide them, I would multiply them. Okay, I would take how many rows there are. There's one row times 15 chairs. Well, 1 times 15, that means there's 15 total chairs. Okay, 2 rows times 15 in each row would be 30 total chairs. So this is your setup. This is how I'd write the equation. Now we actually have to put that in math terms. Well, I don't know how many rows there are. Okay, so I'm going to put an X, or actually we'll put R for rows. We're going to take that times how many chairs are in each row. They told me that. That's 15. And that's got to equal my total number of chairs. Now in algebra world, okay, again, we've talked about different ways to write R times 15 or 15 times R. So I'm going to write it like this because this is the way that we'll see most often. So this right here is our equation. You need to show that first, okay? And now we're just going to solve that. Well, we're going to solve this by dividing by 15 on both sides. Okay? And 360 divided by 15, well, that's going to be about 24. Okay, mental math problem. I know that 20 times 15 is 300, 4 times 15 is 60, so that equals 360 total. So, how many rows of chairs were there? I'm going to now answer the question. There were 24 rows. So again, important things from this example are set up the equation first, and then solve the equation. Okay, we want to put our word problems into equations. Alright, and we have one more example. Okay, this one says, Corey sorted 375 quarters into groups of 40 so he could put them into rolls. How many rolls can Corey fill with quarters? And explain why our answer is reasonable. Okay, well again, what do I know? I know there's 375 total quarters, so in my equation, that's going to be my total. They're in groups of 40. Each roll is a group of 40, and we want to know how many rolls can we fill. Okay, so I'm going to put an R there. Well, again, the total quarters should be how many quarters are in each roll, which is 40, times how many rolls there are. So if I have 40 quarters in a roll and I make 2 rolls, that would be 80 total. Well, we have 375. Okay, 375 total quarters. Now they want to know how many rolls can we make. So I'm going to take my 40 R's and divide them by 40. To cancel out, I'm going to get R equals. I'm going to go ahead and use a calculator on this one because that's okay. 375 divided by 40 is 9.375. Okay? Well, I cannot have 9.375 rolls. And since they're asking how many rolls can I fill, okay, I've got to pick either 9 or 10. Okay? Well, I know I can fill 9 rolls, and we don't have enough to fill a whole 10th roll, so my answer is 9 rolls. It also says explain why your answer is reasonable. Okay? Well, to explain why our answer is reasonable, we have to talk about why does that make sense. Well, I'm going to say I know it's reasonable. I'm going to use estimating. Okay? Let's pretend that I took 9 rolls times 40 quarters. Okay? So 9 rolls times 40 quarters, that's 360. So 9 rolls is 360 quarters. And I know that I have enough. I have enough quarters. I have more than 360 for that. Okay? But we don't have enough for 10 rolls. So, but there are not enough quarters and I'm going to say for a 10th roll. I know I've got enough for 9, but not enough quarters to fill the 10th roll. That is the end of our lesson. So if there's any questions, make sure you ask them. Otherwise, happy homeworking.